Hannity, the Obama administration has made another embarrassing delay to the cornerstone of its domestic policy agenda, also known as the train wreck that is Obamacare. Now, this time the administration is extending the March 31st deadline for those who say they have begun to enroll in a plan but are unable to finish by Monday. They will now have until mid-April to ask for an extension. And get this, all you have to do for the request, that extension, is check a blue box on its website. It's all based on the government honor system. Really? Whatever happened to all the times the White House promised this?
Will there be any more delays of the ACA?
Yeah. We're going to continue to implement the Affordable Care Act in as effective a way as we can, and I'm not aware of any other changes.
Are you going to delay the open enrollment beyond March 31st?
No, sir. There is no delay beyond March 31st.
Can you rule out the idea that the president doesn't delay the individual mandate? Yes, I can. You can. That will not happen. That will not happen.
All right, here with reaction, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is back with us. Senator, how are you? Honor system,
good, Sean.
Check the box. 2 weeks ago, they were saying, we will not extend it.
Well, and here's my question. They're also saying that if you have a hardship, you can declare a hardship. Well, I've got a hardship, Sean. I didn't want to sign up for Obamacare, and it's costing me 4 times more than my old insurance used to cost. So can I get a hardship exemption now? It's become a law that is full of so many holes, so many arbitrary exemptions. Who knows what the law is anymore? But also, who knows what the rule of law is, because he's not supposed to write the law. He's supposed to execute the law. So this has really gotten to a point where who knows what Obamacare is anymore and what the exemptions are.
Here's the main question I have, though. Remember, Jonathan Turley, Democrat, constitutional attorney, has talked about in this country a tipping point as it relates to the Constitution and a constitutional crisis. Does the administration constitutionally have the right to do this unilaterally? Or do they have to go back to Congress, the statutory limitations that were put into the law?
I think to change the law or to give arbitrary exemptions to certain groups can't be done without Congress doing this. And so I think what he's doing is unconstitutional. And I think if we can get this into court, I think you'll find that the court's probably going to agree with this also. Yesterday in court, they had the Hobby Lobby case where they're telling Hobby Lobby, a privately owned company, that they have to provide certain types of birth control. Hobby Lobby already provides birth control, but the government says, oh no, you have to provide what we say is the best kind of birth control. All of these changes to the law eventually, I think, are going to work their way into court. And my hope is that the Supreme Court will say, you know what? This is in the purview of the private business. This isn't something the government should be able to mandate.
All right, the magnitude of this is an epic failure. Now, this has been for the left in this country since the last 70 years now. They have been pushing for nationalized health care of some kind. What does this say? We haven't seen a government failure like this ever, a magnitude like this ever. What does this say about liberalism itself as a governing philosophy?
Well, I think what it really says is that Obamacare is something that is mandatory, full of coercion and mandates, and it's the opposite of what America was founded upon, which is freedom of choice. The other thing is realize what they're mandating you to have. They're mandating that you have certain types of birth control and certain types of diet counseling, but when you get cancer, they're telling you can't go to MD Anderson, you can't go to Mayo Clinic, you can't go to Sloan Kettering. I think y'all had on Fox News recently Josie Gracchi from New York who has breast cancer. She was scheduled for surgery at Sloan Kettering, and they had to cancel her surgery. My colleague Tom Coburn's getting treatment at MD Anderson. They're not letting him go there, or if he goes there, it's going to cost him $33,000 out of pocket per visit. This is what we're giving up. We're giving up the choice of our insurance, but we're giving it up for baubles like diet counseling, and we're no longer able to go for cancer treatment. That's one of the great things about our country is people have come from all over the world for cancer treatment because we're the most advanced. And now that's being excluded or precluded
saw the
by
AP
certain
report.
people.
Look, you can't go to the Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York, MD Anderson in Houston, some of the best cancer centers in the country, not included in most of these plans, and a lot of people are losing doctors that they work with that already have cancer, a pre-existing condition. Right. The question is, every single thing that was said to the American people has now turned out not to be true. Millions have lost their plans, millions are losing their doctors, and millions are paying more, and they're not saving $2,500 per family per year. Can you argue that this is a bait and switch, that this was sold under false pretense? Is there a legal battle here somewhere?
And realize all this craziness on birth control. Hobby Lobby offers their employees 45 different birth control pills. They object to 4. Obama says, oh no, it's 49 or nothing. You also realize they're fining Hobby Lobby $36,000 per employee per day. It adds up to hundreds of millions of fines. It would be cheaper for Hobby Lobby not to provide any insurance at all and pay the penalty. You know where the penalty came from? The penalty didn't even come from the law. Some bureaucrat thought up this $36,000 per person per day. Well, it wasn't in the law at all.
But think about this. Think about our First Amendment and the Free Exercise Clause, and Congress shall make no law establishing a religion or the free exercise thereof. Think about what Justice Sotomayor was asking yesterday when saying, well, you could just pay the fine, that the company doesn't necessarily have to provide the insurance for people. And I'm thinking, but they would have to pay the fine, and she even acknowledged that, so you are paying for your free exercise thereof. Isn't that what she was saying?
Absolutely, and I think if they don't get that, they really don't get the First Amendment. But also realize that it's not just the $2,000. That's if you provide no insurance. So the government has built in a financial advantage to not provide any insurance versus faulty insurance. So the government says, if you provide insurance that we don't like, we fine you $36,000 per employee. If you don't provide insurance at all, it's a $2,000 fine per employee. So actually the government's giving you an incentive to provide no insurance rather than to try to comply with your religion.
But Senator, think about this. This couple, they're a deeply religious evangelical couple. They are running a company. You can't say that their religious faith stops at the church door the minute they leave church, that they live this life. So you now have to pay a fine if you're an evangelical Christian, or pay a fine if you're a Catholic, or work for Catholic charities, or run a Catholic charities, or a Catholic hospital, or if you're a nun with the Sisters of Mercy.
This is a big issue, and I hope that the Supreme Court will rule correctly on this. But to me, it's a fundamental part of America, of the Bill of Rights, of the First Amendment, that you do get to exercise your religion. You should not pay a penalty for exercising your religion. Right. That's not freedom of religion.
Last point. Earlier today on Capitol Hill, Harry Reid was up there. He thinks the reason we need the extension that 2 weeks ago they said was not going to be forthcoming is basically said Americans are pretty stupid and don't know how to use the internet. Watch what he said.
I know you say that this is giving more people the opportunity to sign up and so on, but when they do have these hiccups or have these delays, doesn't that give the other side fodder to fire?
There's no hiccup or delay. We have hundreds of thousands of people who tried to sign up and they didn't get through. There are some people who are not like my grandchildren who can handle everything so easily on the internet. And these people need a little extra time.
They need, after years of preparing this, and this opened in October, now they need more time because we're too stupid to figure out the internet, and obviously they don't know how to put together a website.
This is precisely the problem. The arrogance of Obamacare is that they think they know what's better for you. They know what insurance is standard or substandard. If you don't buy insurance that the president approves of, he calls it substandard. But realize he's substituting his choice for your choice. You're giving up your freedom to accept coercion and accept something that is mandated that you have to buy, one size fits all. But it's this arrogance that they think you're too dumb to make these choices for yourself.
I really wonder how many people would have a hard time, maybe even older people, if they wanted to find pornography on the internet. Why do I think they wouldn't have that much trouble? But Senator, good to be with you. Good for you to be with us. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Sean.